Mr. Kurtz, he dead. He dead. He dead? He dead. Marlon Brando, as Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, read out T.S. Eliot's majestic poem, The Hollow Men, which explicitly references Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, the monumental tale of Kurtz. Wikipedia says, Eliot wrote that he produced the title The Hollow Men by combining the titles of the romance The Hollow Land by William Morris with the poem The Broken Men by Rudyard Kipling. But it is possible that this is one of Eliot's many constructed illusions. The title could also be theorized to originate more transparently from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, which explicitly references hollow men, or from the character Kurtz in Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, who is referred to as a hollow sham and hollow at the core. The latter is more likely since Kurtz is mentioned specifically in one of the two epigraphs. The two epigraphs to the poem are Mr. Kurtz, he dead, and a penny for the old guy. These are allusions to Conrad's character and to Guy Fawkes. Fawkes attempted arson of the English Houses of Parliament in 1605, and his straw man effigy is burned each year in the United Kingdom on Guy Fawkes Night, the 5th of November. Certain quotes from the poem such as, "Headpiece filled with straw," and "in our dry cellar," seem to be direct references to the gunpowder plot. The final stanza of Eliot's awesome poem delivers the immortal lines, "This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends." Not with a bang, but a whimper. Can you believe that the most lunatic troll of them all pretended to be one of us? There's no coming back from that. When the worst people you can conceive imagine that they are somehow like you have touched rock bottom. You have arrived blinking at the heart of darkness, the 9th circle of hell itself, even the 10th circle. Your eternal fate is to look at this anti-you pretending to be you. Existence cannot get any more perverse, twisted, and crueler than that. Imagine God having to stare forever at the devil. Isn't that what the devil always wanted? To be God. Yet he was never anything other than the anti-God. All the energy left the scene, drained by the endless succession of trolls and cretins that came our way. These people drag everything down to their subterranean levels, their sewers and swamps where they eagerly plot to bring down all high and shining things, because such things shame them so much and they are so envious. Nietzsche said, "God is dead, but considering the state of the species man is in, there will perhaps be caves for ages yet in which his shadow will be shown." Marlowe nearly died on his expedition to find Kurtz. He said, "I was within a hair's breadth of the last opportunity for pronouncement, and I found with humiliation that probably I would have nothing to say." Well, if you were facing your death, what last words would you pronounce? How would you sum things up? What would you say? Most people have nothing to say, just like Marlowe. They never learned a thing. They barely lived. Some cult clown we know would send a monetized quote as her epitaph. Why change the habits of a lifetime? She herself never had an original idea in her life. She should say, "I never lived. I was but a shadow on a wall." Marlowe said, "This is the reason why I affirm that Kurtz was a remarkable man. He had something to say. He said it. Since I had peeped over the edge myself, I understand better the meaning of his stare, that could not see the flame of the candle, but was wide enough to embrace the whole universe, piercing enough to penetrate all the hearts that beat in the darkness. He had summed up. He had judged. The horror. He was a remarkable man, after all. This was the expression of some sort of belief. It had candor, it had conviction, it had a vibrating note of revolt in its whisper. It had the appalling face of a glimpsed truth, the strange commingling of desire and hate. Marlowe was in every way changed by Kurtz. Even Kurtz's death was more real to him than his own death would have been. He said, "And it is not my own extremity I remember best, a vision of grayness without form filled with physical pain, and a careless contempt for the evanescence of all things, even of this pain itself. No, it's his extremity that I seem to have lived through. True, he had made that last stride, he had stepped over the edge, while I had been permitted to draw back my hesitating foot. And perhaps in this is the whole difference. Perhaps all the wisdom and all truth and all sincerity are just compressed into that inappreciable moment of time in which we step over the threshold of the invisible. Perhaps. I like to think my summing up would not have been a word of careless contempt. Better his cry, much better. It was an affirmation, a moral victory paid for by innumerable defeats, by abominable terrors, by abominable satisfactions. But it was a victory. That is why I have remained loyal to Kurtz to the last, and even beyond, when a long time after I heard once more, not his own voice, but the echo of his magnificent eloquence thrown to me from a soul as translucently pure as a cliff of crystal. The AC was that cliff of pure crystal. People could not endure its gleaming, sparkling, brilliant perfection, brighter than all the stars joined together into a superstar, the first star,